Hi and welcome to Mark's Motivational Podcast. So it's great to be back for a new year and new season. And I'm delighted to be joined by another great author, Yvonne Reddin from Dublin. So it's great to have you on today, Yvonne. Thanks a lot for coming on.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's nice to be on the other side, Mark. I'm usually on the position where you are interviewing people, so it's mad.
Oh, very good, very good. You do that kind of stuff yourself, do you?
I do, yeah. I
Yeah,
interview authors and business
great.
people, and yeah, I think the video content is key, isn't it? People like to
Yeah,
see who the person is. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, no, thanks a lot for coming on. It's great to have you on the podcast. Yeah.
grand. Yeah, same. I can't wait. Can't wait to get going.
Yeah. So, would you like to tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and the books you've written would be great, Yvonne. Great place to
Yeah.
start.
Now, the books, you say books as plural, but it's only one book
One
for
book,
now.
okay.
So I've only
Yeah,
started.
yeah,
So I think first and foremost, I'm a single mom of three kids.
yeah.
So I've twins that are 9 and I have a 20-year-old. But I think my career and the life I wanted was always a kind of on hold for a long time because I had to parent the kids first, you know, yourself. But
Yeah.
I always kind of trained and went to college while I was a stay-at-home mom. So that's very important to me to say that because it's important to say you're a parent first because I mean everything goes all over the place when you're trying to work and trying to get things organized. But I think I was a late starter because of that with my career. So it took me nearly 20 years to begin what I wanted to do. So I'm a content writer and creator. So I write articles and blogs and website material, newsletter content. I design graphics. I do video content. I interview. I do a bit of everything. It's kind of expanded
Great.
through COVID because of all the different things people kind of wanted, especially online. You know, it's not just about doing a written piece, it's about video. Zoom
Yeah.
became my best friend. I love it, but
Yeah.
it's not for everyone. I'm not over it yet as well. I love it.
Mm.
So, and then my book, I did a load of interviews during the pandemic because I wanted to connect with people, and I started my business in the pandemic. I know it was mad, but it worked because people were at home. So I did a load of written interviews, and then 2 years later, I decided I would put them into a book because they were just sitting on my website, and I was like, well, no one's going to see them unless I direct them there all the time. So I decided I would try and put it into a book and share the book. I had about 38 interviews, so all different people from different industries. So that was my first book that I began to do last year myself. And then I was losing the will to live because of all the different complications and challenges that come along with that, as you well know.
Yeah.
So I handed it over to an agency to finish it, and we did it together. We finished it. So that's my first book. But I've lots of books in me. I think. This is you get a kind of goo for it, then, don't you?
Yeah,
You want to do
you
more.
definitely do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the name of the book, Yvonne?
My book is called Talk, Learn, Connect. So it's interviews with leaders in business, community, and the arts. So I interviewed a whole range of people. So I have a journalism background, so I think that was relevant with the book. I love the interviewing side of what I do. So that's what the book is about. So it's nice, and some people don't like reading long fiction books. So
Mm.
short interviews is nice, a nice option as well, isn't it, for people?
Mm. Yeah, no, that's great, Yvonne. And do you have the book with you for people who are watching on YouTube? Would be great.
I think I just had a copy there. Hang
Yeah,
on.
take your time. Great stuff.
You think I'd be well organized?
I know I'm the same.
It's
Oh,
hard
very
to
good.
see it. It's
Yeah.
green, but the light's a bit dark.
No, it's
So
fantastic.
it's
Oh, very
it's a
good.
lovely green color. And the sea, I love the sea. I sea swim a lot. So
Oh, lovely.
that was important to me to get that into the logo. So
Great.
the guy who helped me with that, he graphic designer, he did a great job on that. So
Yeah,
I
the
called it
cover is great. The cover
TLC.
is great, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's beautiful. It really is. I was delighted with it. TLC for short. So it's kind of like, I wanted to be a softer style of interviewing. So
yeah,
I want more like a chat, like what we're doing tonight, instead of being real formal. So
yeah.
that's what Talk, Learn, Connect is. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. And where did it all begin for you, Yvonne, as a writer? Have you always written yourself or?
Yeah, I suppose my first career was a hairdresser. When I left school, I went to train to be a hairdresser. So I traveled with that as well. I got over to Australia for 9 years.
Mm.
And I think over there I started doing creative writing classes.
Okay.
I was writing stories, sending them into magazines, trying to get them published. I started then, I think, if I looked back. I was always scribbling in notebooks as a kid, and I love a newspaper. I love like how a newspaper's put together and why they put that there and this there and all that. So that's why I wanted to learn a bit more about journalism as well, which I did when I came back from Australia. But I think the origins was kind of there. And hairdressing. I mean, talking to people and listening to
Yeah.
stories and all. That's really, isn't that really, that's really where it
Absolutely.
began for me. I mean, the stories I could tell about people, I tell you, that's another book.
Yeah, yeah.
So for me, it was there. I think Australia, and then when I came back from Australia, it's a long time ago now. I went and studied journalism, and I was 20 years older than all the students there. I was a mature student, but I absolutely loved it, and I found my call in there and went on to do a degree. And I used to go to loads of writing workshops and writing festivals, and I'd be in awe listening to the people that were facilitating the workshops. But particular, I loved memoir stuff. I loved memoir workshops, and the people I used to go and see, they're all connections and friends now. It's mad the way
It really
it's all
is.
turned around. It all comes back around, I think, somehow, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Along the
yeah,
way, yeah.
yeah. No,
So
the
that's
book
kind
looks
of
good.
where it
Mm,
all began.
right, and yeah, and the book looks great. Where can people get that book? Is it available on
Yeah, I have a link on my site, on my website, yvonnereddin.com. If they look up Talk, Learn, Connect book, there's a
yeah.
link there to Amazon. Amazon has everything, hasn't it? You
Oh,
know,
yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
there. And then if I'm based in Sandyford, so if anyone's around Sandyford, I have a few copies as well if people wanted to get it off me too.
Brilliant.
So
Yeah.
Amazon's the one, yeah.
And do you have any bookshops or anything like that, Yvonne?
No, I've only started it, so I only put it out 2 weeks before Christmas. So I
Oh,
have to
okay.
sit
Yeah.
down and yeah, I'm only going to start promoting it
Mm,
now kind of. But
yeah.
I think a lot of the big shops won't take a published book, so it's really I have to kind of sit down and think about who I'm going to target for that and see if I can get it into some local independent ones.
Mm. Well, the one
Yeah.
place is there for anybody that's listening that is a writer. I've had a bit of luck with Alan Hanna's and Rathmines.
Yeah, I know. That's the one, yeah, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So
He takes a
they're
lot of books. He seems to be great.
yeah. So that's one to
And
have.
how do you find sales there, Mark, yourself?
Well, yeah, I've got a yeah, haven't been. They supply the libraries, they supply
Yeah.
the libraries
And the
around.
libraries is another good one, isn't it?
Yeah, the
To get
libraries are
into the
great.
libraries. They buy your book as well. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm learning as I go along because
Yeah,
the self-publishing journey is very challenging and
yes, yeah,
it's, isn't
definitely.
it? But you learn as you ask people going along.
Yeah, definitely. Well, learn off each other. That's the best way,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of what kind of inspires you mostly to write and keeps you motivated really when you're writing that book?
I love storytelling. I think I love hearing people's stories. And I always say it all the time. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I think ordinary people have extraordinary stories, Mark, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do.
And they're the ones that people want. They're the ones I want to hear. So I think if I want to hear them, other people want to hear them. So
Yeah.
I really targeted my guests. I'd hear Ryan Tuberty. I listen to him all the time in the morning, and
Yeah.
some of his guests I kind of wanted to hear more. There
Mm,
was a lady on there last week, and her story was incredible.
yeah. Yeah.
She had fallen in front of a tube station in London and survived, but she'd lost her arm and her leg. And I love stories like that because it shows people's resilience and their will to live and all.
Yeah.
So for me, it's more memoir and biography writing and stories. That's kind of what I love most. Yeah, about writing.
Yeah. And I absolutely love that you've done that, from what your experience of interviews and all that kind of stuff. That's really great that you've been able to get that into a book. That must be feeling really satisfying for you, was it?
Yeah, I know, because they were all just sitting there on the website. I was like, all that work that goes into that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there had to be another way to get it out there to more people. Not everyone will go to YouTube, and not everyone will go to my website unless they know me. So
Yeah.
the only other option I found was to put it into a book,
Right.
and self-publish it. Because if you sent it off, a manuscript off, the chances of getting a reply, you could be waiting years. I,
Mm-hmm.
I just had
Yeah.
no patience for that. I just wanted to do it myself and be in control of it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a positive to self-publishing, isn't it? You're in control of everything.
Mm.
And I like that. I like being able to, I wanted to pick my cover and the way I wanted to format it. You're in complete control. So I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Well done. That's absolutely brilliant. Yeah, like so, like you can share your website, and I'll put it on the show notes for people to find as well, Yvonne.
Yeah, great. And if anyone wants to message me directly, that's
Mm,
no problem. I have a couple of books here at home as well, or talk to me about my journey.
yeah,
I'm open to helping people, and if they would need any advice about anything, I
yeah.
think I know it inside out now at this stage.
Yeah. And how did you start getting into the? I know you were saying you have a background in journalism, and
Mm,
how did you get it all going? Like, I'm interested to know how
yeah,
you kind of did you start approaching people to interview, or what way did you
yeah.
take it on?
I was look, I 2020 I started my own business, a copywriting business.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I had a LinkedIn page, but I hadn't used it in years. And my friend who's an entrepreneur, she goes, you have to get on LinkedIn. That's where people are. That's where you'll get business. And she was right. So I had to go onto LinkedIn and introduce myself, get people to know, like, and trust me, and get to know my work. I mean, it took about 18 months, Mark. It took a because it just doesn't happen overnight. You have to be consistent with your posts. You have to interact with people. You have to comment. Just you don't just go and like things. You have to get a conversation going. So I planned out my posts, and usually it was like real stories about my day or what happened to me, or sharing some tips on writing content, all that kind of thing. So I had to build it up from there, and then I heard guests on Ryan Tuberty, and I said, I'd love to hear more about that person. And I'd email them and say, would you be interested in coming, doing a written piece for me and exploring it a bit more? And look, they all said, yeah, look, I was very lucky. But I think it's because everyone was at home. They'd nothing else to do in COVID. So I was giving them a little bit of work that they didn't mind doing. I don't think I would have had the best response if COVID hadn't happened. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So it worked well for me in that regard. And if I heard a story or something somewhere, I used to just go, I'd love to hear more about that, and just and see if I could get them. Yeah, so it was brilliant.
Yeah. No, sorry about.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
this is the
that's
joys of online, isn't it?
that's it. But no, that's great. Like that worked out well for you, because they say like every cloud has a silver lining with COVID. Only for it was an awful time, but only
Yeah,
for that, like you can always look for the positives that come out of stuff.
and people were home and they needed something to do and they were bored. So I sent them emails of I did a 5 question format, and I'd send it to now I researched, I tweaked all the questions to suit the business,
Mm.
because TLC talking is about the person behind the brand.
Yeah.
So not the brand. I wanted to know about the person who made this brand and who is behind the company. So I targeted them to see why they started it, all the questions that I wanted to know. And
Mm.
then it worked. So I just kept it as a 5 question format, and that was perfect. And then I got it designed for online. A friend of mine helped me, Alan Hennessy, the digital mentor. He helped me put it up online and create the website and the link, and it looked lovely and professional. So people could share it on their pages and their sites if they wanted to. And it was a real nice little profile piece to have on yourself to share in your email as well, your signature. This is a little bio about myself that I did with this girl. So people were getting as much as I was getting out of it. So it worked
That's
really
it.
well. Mm.
Swings and roundabouts, like
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, because like no, that's really really inspiration for anybody that's listening. For your journey. So thanks a lot for sharing that, because I
You're
love what you're
welcome.
saying. I love what you're saying there about being able to, like, because the book, as you say, the book looks great. Like the way it is designed looks really really well.
Yeah, and look, it's good to have a product. I think with your business, I think I've learned as I go along, if I'm a writer, I know it's hard to even say I'm an author. It's hard to get your head around that, isn't it? I'm
Yeah,
an author. It's
yeah,
lovely,
it's great. Yeah,
and
yeah,
but it is nice to have to show people that you know what they're going through. You've been through it. You understand it all. So I think it was important for me, I think, to have a book. I did feel I needed to have a product to show people I can do this. I know what it's about. I understand the whole process of it all. So it's great to have that. But I definitely think there's more books in me for sure.
brilliant. Yeah, and can I just ask you as well, Yvonne, when you were writing the book, did you ever kind of hit like a, how could you say, a metaphorical wall, like, you know, maybe writer's block? Has that ever happened to you? In what way would you have dealt with that?
Did I ever? I don't think I hit a wall. I do like to use like a kind of a structure with what I'm doing. So I like the storytelling side to post. If I hit a wall and I was stuck, I see swim a lot, Mark. I think the
Yeah.
power of the blue spaces helps me.
Hmm.
And it's not just the sea. I do see swim quite a bit, and I do feel energized, and my ideas kind of I can get clarity on them when I come out of the sea. I know that sounds weird, but I do.
Oh,
And
oh,
even when I'm in the shower and something's on my mind, I'm in there and I'm thinking about it. I get out of the shower and I have it sorted.
wow.
So swimming helps me, whatever it is about the water. I'm a Pisces by heart. So that definitely grounds me. And then my friends around me support me. If I have any, I have all different types of friends in business and creative and all that. I ask them for advice or what do they think.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I think good people around you that'll be honest with you,
Mm.
as well. You
Yeah.
don't want people around you saying, yeah, that's great. No, that's not going to work, Yvonne.
No.
Tweak it like this. And I love that because you learn from the constructive, of your friends and the support. That was huge for me, having the right people around me.
Because you know if they're being coherent about what they're saying, you know, because like you
Yeah,
said there, if they're saying, oh, you know, that's fine, you know, they're not actually, you say to them, but you know, get
yeah.
them to elaborate on it, you know.
I like the butts, but yeah, and look at and
Yeah.
I'm always. I mean, even tonight, I was writing a piece for someone, and they wanted me to revise it two times, and
Yeah.
I say, and I don't mind that at all. If they know what they're doing and they're professionals, so
Yeah.
I listen. I don't get thick about it. I go, okay, they know what they're doing. They know what they want, so just do it, and that's it. And listen to the advice. I did. I listened to every bit of advice I was given. I listened to it all, and it worked. It worked really well the last 2 years.
Mm. And it really worked for you, yeah, yeah, because
Yeah, so far so good. Touch wood.
yeah, no, I hope it does really well for you. And
Yeah,
yeah, this is great. Thanks a lot, Yvonne, for coming on. Can I just ask you as well, in terms of books yourself, what kind of books you
yeah.
like reading yourself? And I suppose what authors do you think you've taken, like taken your how do you say, be inspired by, or you know?
Yeah, there's so many, isn't there?
Yeah, there is.
I have a writer series that I interview authors as well. I developed
Oh,
a year and
great.
a half
Yeah,
ago because I wanted to find out more about people's writing process.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I always felt just before I wrote my book,
Mm.
can you develop a writer's mindset, or can you be taught it, or is it just something that you're born with?
Mm.
Because I don't know how these people write 50,000 word books and do one every year. I'm gobsmacked by that. So
Yeah,
I wanted to ask people about that, Vanessa Fox and like Catherine Ryan Howard and all. How did they get them amazing books out?
yeah.
But I do love memoir books.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's kind of what I like, the story. So I read a really good one in 2 days there, just at Christmas time, called Annie's Boy by Gary Todd. And he's an author from Australia. He's a friend of mine. He's actually from Scotland. And it's about his childhood growing up in Scotland, and it was rough. So I loved that because it's real, and it's gritty,
Yeah, great.
and
Yeah.
excellent book. I don't know whether you can get it here. It could be out now. But and then another memoir I read was Skinful by Robin Fleming. She's an Australian author as well. Hers is about alcohol and giving it up, and she's a nomad and travels all over the world. Really interesting lady. So I like those kind of things, But I do love thrillers and crime, and I read crime as well. I used to love Linda LaPlante when I was a kid. I loved all her books.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I loved all them. And Case Carpetta, she was a great character. Patricia Cornwell, I think it was. So I like a bit of crime as well, and I
Yeah.
like the memoir. Yeah,
Good mix there,
a
yeah.
bit
Great
of a
stuff.
mix. You have to have a mix, don't you? I meet loads
Oh,
of
yeah,
people when I'm
definitely.
talking to them.
Yeah.
Jane Buckley writes about the Troubles.
Mm.
She's a brilliant self-published author as well. She has a tetralogy of books. That's 4 books covering the Troubles. Amazing.
Yeah.
She has done 4 huge books in 2 years. I've never met anyone like it in my life. But I'm reading hers at the minute. Um, the Stones Corner. Her tetralogy is called The Stones Corner. But that's what I'm reading at the minute. But I like anthologies and short story books as well. If my if I can't read for too long with kids interrupting you and all that,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like something short to read, as well.
yeah, yeah.
I like Conan Creedon. I love Pancho and Lefty. He's got like short story book. I like them kind of stories as well.
Yeah, yeah,
A bit of a mix. A bit
yeah.
of a mix in there.
It's great to be talking to people that write an interest in reading books because you get some great tips of what to read,
I
don't
know,
you?
and books. I've loads of books. I
Yeah,
bought so many books in COVID from recommendations. I haven't read. I don't get a lot of time to read, but I try to. I think that's good when I feel like I need some inspiration. I read a book and I try and I go to a webinar, a writer's webinar, or go and do some training online. And I think that gives me motivation that I need. I think it's good to learn lots of new things. So
definitely.
much to learn, isn't there? All the
Point, yeah.
time.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, brilliant. And favorite movies as well, Yvonne. Do you have any
Oh
favorite
my
films?
God, there's loads.
One of your favorite, maybe. I know it's.
I know, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
Do you know what I loved? I loved The Usual Suspects years ago.
great film. Yeah, yeah.
Shawshank Redemption, of course. Loved all that. I loved Copycat, Bone Collector, Denzel Washington. Loved thriller movies, I suppose. Moulin Rouge. I love musically movies. The Greatest Showman. The kids love that, but I love
Yeah, the
that as
kids love
well.
that. Yeah, yeah.
And then I love the oldies as well. My mum loved Doris Day, so we used to watch Calamity Jane and
Oh,
the
brilliant. Yeah.
music of Oklahoma and all those kind of things. So I'd watch anything. I like movies. I love movies.
My dad used to love that as well. Calamity Jane. Yeah,
Oh, I love it.
one of
Yeah,
those ones.
and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the new Elvis movie. I watched that.
That's brilliant,
I
actually. Yeah, that's
yeah,
really
I
good. Yeah,
because I love Baz Luhrmann. I love his stuff, but now it
yeah.
was hard to watch it, wasn't it? It
Was yeah.
was very sad, wasn't it? I loved
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
It was different.
Because
Tom
not a lot
Hanks.
of people would have known the complete story. Like they
Yeah.
really kind of highlighted it very well, didn't they?
Oh my God. It was so sad then that Lisa Marie died as well.
That was
Just
that's right. Yeah.
recently. But I love those. I remember sitting in The Greatest Showman. I went to see it on my own because I love Hugh Jackman. And I could feel the hairs in the back of my neck from the music and the way it was done. I loved it. I've watched The Greatest Showman. I've done it many times. I love it. The
Yeah,
kids love it
she
as
looked kind
well.
of like my daughter as well. She's watched it millions of times as well.
It's just brilliant. And every time I watch, I just it's the music in it. It was just
Yeah,
incredible. I loved it.
yeah, it's
Brilliant.
brilliant.
Not for everybody, but I love musical films.
Oh, great stuff. Yeah, and your favorite music as well.
Yeah, that's a range.
Yeah.
If I was to go backwards, I loved the Smiths growing up. I
Oh,
loved the Beautiful South, all that kind of stuff. I hate kind of all the mainstream 80s music. I'm an 80s girl. Real mix. I love the Rat Pack. The Rat Pack would be my favorite. I think I was born in the wrong era.
yeah, yeah,
Frank Sinatra. My kids go around listening to Frank Sinatra and all in the car.
yeah,
I
good,
love, yeah, I know, I love it.
yeah.
I don't listen to music when I'm writing. I can't. I have to have real quiet time
Yeah,
when
I
I'm
was going to
writing.
ask you that. Yeah,
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 I can't. I don't know how to put music on. I don't. I have to have quiet. But
yeah.
I love the music in the car. I love the radio and I love music in the car. I love listening to that. I love house music. I was born in that 90s era of
Yeah,
brilliant dance music.
yeah, me
I
too.
mean,
Yeah,
Gok Wan he's a great DJ. Gok Wan from the telly. He even
yeah,
did loads of live music during COVID. It was brilliant. So there's a real range there. And Elvis. Loved all the oldies as well, all the old stuff. Patsy Cline. My mother loved all that, so we loved all that. We grew up with loads of music around us. Neil Diamond and everything. Sure, you have to have a bit of Neil Diamond, don't you?
oh
Cracklin'
yeah,
Rosie.
yeah, brilliant. Yeah. At least we can go back to the concerts now as well, which is great. The last 3 years.
Yeah, I don't get out much to concerts now. Not with little kids. It's hard
Yeah, it is.
to get there. But I do like going to a nice what was the last one I was at? I know the Tommy Tiernan there a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, he's great.
I haven't
Yeah,
been to I haven't been to a music concert for a long time.
yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, nice. I'm similar to you with the music. All right, I love all that
Oh,
myself.
we're probably a similar age, are we? Or you're probably a bit younger than me.
No, sorry. But no, it's been great talking to you, Yvonne. Thanks a lot for coming on.
You're welcome. It's great to chat about all these bits and bobs, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's nice
great.
to
Yeah.
find out a bit about people, isn't it?
Yeah. And what's next for yourself? Have you what's in the pipeline with books, or have you?
No, so book promote this TLC now because I
Yeah.
only brought it out before Christmas,
Mm,
and then we had the time off the kids, so it's promoting that. I
yeah.
have a list of bookshops I want to call around to and visit,
Mm,
and I've had one bookshop get in touch with me because of social media. That's the biggest thing to say.
mm,
Promotion on social media is huge.
Yeah.
I think people don't use it enough. You cannot do enough promotion and marketing on social media. I haven't got into TikTok. I'm on a webinar for TikTok tomorrow because I think we have to learn about that.
Yeah,
That's a huge
big time.
platform to get onto, and I think I have to learn that one. I want to go around to loads of book writing festivals. I've got a list of ones I'd love to go to. Whether I'd love to get on and talk about my book, I'll see. I think I need to target a few of those and just ones that I can bring the kids with me as well. I got to a few last year, but not enough. I love going to writing events, just loads on. Even around Dunleary, there's brilliant. Vanessa Fox says the Murder One event was amazing
I heard that
down
was
in
great. Yeah,
Dunleary.
yeah, I heard that was
Brilliant. The
great. Yeah,
guests were
yeah.
brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dalkey Festival is on. There's great ones here, but I want to go around Ireland and go and do a few more or see a few more. I have a new project coming out, a new writing service. It's a memoir biography service, of course. So I want to help people write their books as well. And I'm going to help them get their life stories into a book. I think there is one in the UK and there's one in the US, but there's none in Ireland. So I really want to. I've put a video out there to see if people were interested in it, and there was a good response from it there just a
Right.
couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
So that's something I'm going to work on now. So I'll interview people, write all their stuff out for them, and in the end, they'll get a book. I think it's a
wow.
good way to document people's lives, isn't it?
That's a brilliant idea. Wow.
Yeah. So that's called the Story Angel. Yeah, I've started. It's called the Story Angel, and it's your life narrated by you. So I'll just write exactly what you want, what the client wants, and they'll get a book at the end. It's good to have for families and even just to have for yourself, isn't it?
Yeah, because a lot
Life
of people,
changes so
yeah,
quick.
great idea because some people like myself even I struggle with like writing, spelling, and punctuation and all that.
Yeah, yeah. So I can do
Because
all that now because I proofread and I edit.
yeah,
That's what I do as
yeah.
well.
Because a
So they
lot of
don't have
people
to
would
worry
be,
about that.
yeah, because a lot of people hold themselves back because they think, how am I going to write a book if
Yeah.
if I can't even, read it as I go. But
Yeah,
then,
well, see,
then
and then
that's
I
a
can
great
help them
service.
exactly
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it'll be like the people can do it on Zoom or they can do it on email. I can send them questions and I'll put it all together because I know what to do now with the book. Then I know get it all formatted right for themselves. I'm sure they just want it for families. It won't be for
yeah.
to sell probably. It's just something to have. We have our photographs, but a book is something special, isn't it? To have in your
Definitely,
life.
definitely. Yeah, no, that's a
So
great
that's
idea.
my next one. There's enough there. That'll keep me going. I
Yeah.
did too much last year. I know I did too much last year, and I was like, got overwhelmed by it all. And I said, right, no, one or two things, and that's it. And
Yeah,
concentrate on those and make them the best you can.
definitely.
That's what I'm
I'd
gonna
love to
do.
have you back on again as well, just to talk purely about the book. Be
Yeah,
nice idea. Just to talk about different chapters of it. If you're happy to do that some point, Yvonne.
yeah, Cora, and I can share about the guests because I got
Yeah.
Nellie Olson. You remember from Little House on the Prairie?
Oh
I
yeah.
got to chat with her. Yeah,
Okay.
her name's Alison Arngrim. I
Wow.
got to chat with her and I actually got to do a meet and greet with her on Zoom and all because she thought it was video, but it wasn't. It was for written. And I said, yeah, yeah, come on. And we were chatting. Oh, it was brilliant.
That's
She, I,
amazing.
I had to go to her agent in LA. I think as well for your people watching this, aim for the people that you want to talk to. Like
Mm,
all they can say is no. You
exactly.
know,
Yeah.
I never got a no, and I went for people that really interested me, and it worked. There's no point in go for the ones that you want. Lorraine Keane was brilliant as well, BB Baskin. There's a whole load of people, a couple of authors as well about their journeys, and they've gone on to publish books as well. So there's a
Yeah.
load of people. Yeah, we could talk about that, and I can tell you more about the Story Angel service
And
the next time as well.
have you recorded any of these interviews, Yvonne, or did you record any of them? Or
The TLC ones were all written. That's when I
okay,
started writing, and then, but I have started to do TLC conversations, interviewing people from all different industries. All my interviews are on my website and on my YouTube channel, but
brilliant.
mostly everything can be found on YvonneReddin.com, so that people can see the range of people there and all the authors. It depends on what you want. There's a load of people up there. It's good to have a range of guests,
Definitely,
just
definitely.
more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. No, that's great. And just one more thing before I let you
Yeah.
go. It's been great talking to you. If you could maybe put a sentence together, just in your words, how to keep yourself motivated. If you're a writer, you're starting off writing. What would you say to them, like in a couple of words, like or a sentence?
Oh God.
Not to put you in the spot around.
Yeah, no, don't put me on the spot. If they want to be a writer, if they want to do something, like just keep going. Do you know what? I can't do it in one sentence. Everything that you're going through even years ago, if it doesn't make sense, it will. I think everything that I did years ago is coming around now. I think if you're unsure of why something's happening, just believe in it and go with it, because it'll all make sense. It comes around and it's incredible. And just go along with your journey. I think your path's mapped out for you. And always say, and this is my mantra, I use it all the time in the car with the kids: thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
I thank everybody for everything, because you have to. Because if you thank people, it'll come back to you. Keep going. Find your genre. That's the most important thing. I know I'm not a fiction writer, Mark, but I love writing, sharing people's stories and helping them with that. That's the part. That's what I'm meant to do now. It took me years to find out that. But I think if you narrow down your niche of what you're good at, just stick with that and connect with people, connect with writers. The best thing, and talk to them.
Yeah, that's great, Yvonne. Thanks
More
so
than
much.
one sentence. Sorry about that.
No, it's gone. Thanks for. No, I just said I didn't want to. Yeah, brilliant. Well, no, Yvonne, it's been great talking to you, Yvonne Reddin. Thanks very much for coming on, and I wish you all the success going forward.
Oh,
And
thanks a
all you
million.
do.
Thank you very much, Mark.
Yeah, thank you very much. So once again, thanks everyone for tuning in to Mark's motivational podcast. A great interview there with Yvonne. I'm going to share all Yvonne's links on the show notes, so make sure you check them out. So join us again for another episode. Take care and good night and God bless. Thank you. Hello everyone, Mark here. Thank you for watching another episode of my Authors Tuesday podcast. I recently published a book of children's stories called The Adventures of Larry Lamppost and Friends. The book began life as bedtime stories I wrote for my own children. If you'd like to purchase my book, follow the link in the description box below. By buying my book, you are also supporting my podcast series for authors, which is giving a voice to writers in Ireland and across the world.